Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our winter concert. The students have worked very hard. They were very successful, played a great concert yesterday for the school, and I anticipate that this evening for you. Before we get started, let me thank the art department for the displays that they put out in the upper foyer here. And I also want to make a special mention to our stage crew, who have been very helpful in behind the scenes, and I've gotten a lot of special attention before the concerts, asking me if I need anything, giving me an update on how long until the concert, and that's greatly appreciated. So thank you to the stage crew and Mr. Whistler. We're going to start off with a song that is based on Up on the Housetop, and it is arranged by I believe a second or third cousin from a student in our 7th grade band. Andrew Ballant is a distant relative of Julia Ballant, and Andrew is a very accomplished composer. He has written over 500 pieces of music and continues to still write, from my understanding, and really understands the age group. But I'm sure you're going to really enjoy this opening number. Thank you very much. Let me recognize one student who has switched instruments. One of the things that I think all band directors are working towards is ideal instrumentation, so that it creates a balanced sound, and everybody benefits from it because the band sounds better, but also gives the students opportunities in other areas that are offered within the public school system, like small ensembles, jazz band. But I have a young man who switched from alto to tenor sax, and I want to recognize him, Aiden Seuss. There are going to be, I know, some other instrument switches within the second half of the year. When you look at your program, you can see how many are in each section, and this is the time of the year where I will start asking some of the sections, You know, are they interested in maybe a low brass instrument? You can see that our low brass, there's 3 people in it, and we'd love to have a few more low brass. Could always use a couple tuba players. And those of you that are afraid of the fact that that instrument is that big, there's a way that they can get around having to hold it. They don't have to carry it back and forth, so if that's a concern, you don't even have to rent a tuba. So if that's a concern of yours, we have the instruments right here where they can have one at home and one here at school. So if they're interested in doing something like that, and they can do it just to try it, come in the morning and I'll give them a quick lesson on it and see how they do. If they like it, by all means they can stick with it. If they don't like it, that's fine too. I want to make mention of this. After tonight's performance, all the students have been told they can take their instruments home, and you probably are not going to need them until January. So parents, this is a great time. If there's an issue with an instrument, get it to the music store, let them take care of it, or just to have a check of the instrument. I always tell the students, it's already a challenge to play the instrument. It shouldn't be more of a challenge with an instrument that doesn't work properly. So that's a good opportunity for them to have the instrument checked. Getting back to the program, we have a piece here that celebrates Hanukkah. And this is going to feature our flutes, clarinets, and percussion in the beginning. And then we're going to add saxophones and gradually add more and more instruments to it. And then all of a sudden it's going to drop out again, and it's going to be saxophones and a French horn player, and we're going to build it right back up again. This is one you'll enjoy, called Hanukkah is Here. Thank you very much. It's not, for those of you new to our concerts, it's not musical chairs, and they didn't mess things up. All of the clarinet players get to play first clarinet, so they're just switching so that all the firsts can sit together and all the seconds, and you can see that happening in the trumpet section. So everybody gets a chance to play the first part. We're waiting right now on Elementary Honors Band. I was hoping maybe they would give us some results, but they still haven't. So those of you that have children that submitted forms, we're still waiting on the results from that. We're in the holiday season. We're getting close to our winter break, and it's my opportunity to give you some suggestions for gifts. And let me start off by saying there is a wealth of music that you can buy. Just be very careful on the level of difficulty. If you look at some of the books that are out, they should only have 1 flat, 2 flats, maybe a sharp or 2 sharps in them. That's about where their difficulty level is. Mostly half notes, quarter notes, some eighth notes. Some of them may be able to handle some 16th note rhythms as well, if you understand music. With the reed players, box of reeds would be really a great thing to put in a stocking. Mouthpieces, if you're not sure about mouthpieces, a lot of the school instruments get a basic stock mouthpiece. If you're interested in something a little bit better, obviously a little bit better, performs a little bit better, if you email, and I'll be happy to get back to you. A music stand, if they don't have one to practice, maybe private lessons. We have a lot of great teachers in this area. And also, maybe a new instrument. If that's on Santa's list or somebody's list, go ahead and a new instrument. If you do and you have questions, I'm more than willing to help out. There are a lot of companies making inferior instruments, and some of the music stores are telling me that these instruments come in and they don't even have parts in order to fix them properly. But there's some suggestions for you. The third piece, if you notice, the second piece was a little bit harder than the first. This next one's probably the hardest one in the program. It's written kind of in a fanfare style, and I could have used it as an opener, but just couldn't see starting the program with the hardest piece. You're going to hear a piece based on O Come All Ye Faithful, and you're really going to hear the percussion involved. You're going to hear many tempo changes. 6th graders are not used to tempo changes. They've gotten used to it, and they really enjoy doing that and accomplishing that. So you're going to enjoy hearing the different textures, the different tempos in a piece called Let the Holidays Begin. when you look at them on stage and you see that how quiet they are and everything is together, you may think that it might be different when we're not on stage. And I have to tell you, it's not a whole lot different. They come in, they're ready to go, they want to play, they're anxious to play, and they want to get better. And I told them the other day, the sign of a good group is one that continues to improve right up to the performance. They don't peak too early, but they're consistently trying to improve a little by little. And this group has done that. A few days ago, and the end of last week, we were having trouble with a couple things. And instead of panicking, they worked at it. They wanted to get it to sound better, and they did. And I'm really proud of them. So another round of applause for them. We have only, well, they have one more song, and then they're kind of like halfway done with the school year with band, because they only have one other performance in the spring. And if you check the school calendar for the very first time, our concert's going to be on a Monday night due to some scheduling issues. So that pushes our dress rehearsal to the Wednesday before, and we've already scheduled the school concert for Friday. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, coming off a weekend and doing a spring concert. But we'll do the best we can, and I'm sure they're going to pull through. Parents that have children on stage right now, I encourage you to stay for the second half of the program. We're going to be done by 8 o'clock, probably easily. And I'd love for you to stay and listen to where your child is headed with the 7th and 8th grade group. Their instrumentation is a little bit more balanced, a little bit more mature sound to them, and it'll give you an idea what the next step is, even halfway through their 6th grade year. Keep them practicing. I'm sure they've talked to you about practice records, and it doesn't take a lot to improve, but it does take a little bit. And as I keep telling them, if you practice 10, 15 minutes a day, you'll be surprised at what happens. I continue to practice, I continue to perform. If I miss 2 days in a row, I'm in trouble. I'm really in trouble. I take a couple steps back in order to get back where I was. Maybe sometimes you don't always like the sounds you're hearing. I don't always like the sounds that I make when I'm practicing either, but that's part of learning. So encourage them to practice. Have them play for family over the holidays. We're going to close. We always try to pick a patriotic piece. We're going to close with one. It's based on My Country, 'Tis of Thee, and they're doing a really great job with this piece as well.